What's going on, guys? It's Mike from Delmarva Backyard. Here on Delmarva Backyard, we do projects, reviews, and barbecue. Today we have a very special barbecue, and I am pumped about it. Let me tell you, I have not done one of these before, but we are going to tackle it. We're doing a whole packer brisket. It's a 15-pound whole packer brisket. And we have a Mother's Day slash birthday party going on at our house tomorrow. So we have lots of people to feed. Hickman's Meat Market let me know they had a full packer brisket, and they don't usually get those. You usually have to special order them, but I picked it up. Let's get started. The whole packer brisket. My first one, I've watched a lot of videos on them. You know, it's a prime grade brisket. The whole packer brisket consists of two parts. This part down here is the flat, and that's the skinnier part. It's one muscle, and you flip it over, you can kind of see the grain is running this way, okay? And that is what we call the flat. On top of that is the point, and that sits here, okay? And between those two muscles is a layer of fat. I'll just flip this guy around, and you can do all kinds of things with these, but most of the time what you'll see is these two are separated, and you'll buy a flat is what you'll see at your grocery stores, or most of the time even at your butcher's. You're gonna get the flat. When you go to a barbecue place, they're gonna ask you if you want your brisket moist or lean. The lean comes from the flat, the moist comes from the point. The point's where we get our burn ends, if you know anything about burn ends. So what we're gonna do with this brisket is we're gonna trim down hard fat, like here. We're gonna trim this stuff here off. And it's a little more important to do a little heavier trimming when you have a whole packer brisket, because you wanna get the hard fat off. It's not gonna render. See that right there? That's not gonna render. You wanna get rid of that. You wanna get rid of silver skin, large chunks of hard fat. And you wanna take the cap down to about 1/4 of an inch. And it takes time. You can trim this, you know, you can spend an hour doing this. This isn't something you're just gonna go right through on a whole packer. Get rid of the stuff that's hanging. You're also going to want to clean your sides up. Any gray meat that you may see. This one actually, over here. See this right here? We're going to trim and cut that up. Square that off. You're probably going to end up taking a couple pounds off this thing. But it's important. You want to get that fat off that's not gonna render. You can see how I'm kind of getting into there now. And that's kind of where the point and the flat connect. Once you start getting down to the meat, that's when you can back off. Just gonna square that up, make it look nice and neat. Okay, and on the top here, gonna just take off anything that's a little, I'm gonna try to get right down into the meat without cutting any of the meat off. The fat cap side, I won't do that. I'll leave 1/4 of an inch. Some people take off, try to take it all off. I'm gonna leave about 1/4 of an inch on the fat cap side. Now this here, this is a big hunk right here. You wanna get rid of that. That is nothing but fat. And that is not good for any part of this. See that? Gotta get rid of that. Also, on the very end here on the flat, you see the grain running this way. I'm gonna cut just a little chunk. Right there. And what that's gonna do is when it's done, it's gonna tell me where to cut my slices, okay? Because you always wanna cut against the grain, and that's gonna be a real easy way to tell where to cut. Because when this is done, it gets a lot harder to tell. I have the injection ready, and what I used was a 1/4 cup of butter, 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire, and then a whole 32 ounces of beef stock. And that's gonna be the injection, and what's left over, and there'll be plenty of left over, I'll use for the spritz during the cook. So I'm gonna stir that up, and then we're gonna go ahead and inject. We've got it all injected. Now it's time to put the rub on. And what we have is 10 tablespoons pepper, coarse black pepper, 9 tablespoons kosher salt, and then I put 3 tablespoons of the Stubbs beef. And then on top, after I get this rub here on, which is what I just told you about, I'm gonna also sprinkle it with this Stubbs BBQ seasoning. And a big slab of meat like this, it was 15 pounds. I cut probably about 2.5 pounds off, but it's gonna take a lot of seasoning. Pick this up for about $7 a pound. And there we go, we have the top, got our Stubbs, we got our salt and pepper, and we're gonna pat that in. You can see the juice from the injection, just wonderfulness there. All right, here we go. We have the Rec Tec fired up at 250. We have the extreme smoke function on. And we have water in the water pan. We have our amazing smoker tube. Going to fire it up. And it's going to take, a whole packer like this is going to take some time. It's going to take some patience. And that's it, guys, right there. Rec Tec's gonna do the rest of the work for us. We're just gonna spritz it. And we're 4 hours in. We're gonna take a look at our brisket and we're gonna spritz it. We're getting some excellent color. Look at that. Beautiful looking color there. Perfect time for spritz. Smoker tube's about 2/3 of the way done. I'll refill that since we have such a long cook. Spritzing really heavy. Still have water in the water pan. We're doing real well here. Everything's looking good. Guys, we're 8 hours in. And you can see what we're looking at here. Beautiful color. It's wonderful. Just moist as can be. And what I'm doing is I'm hunkering down for the night now. I'm going to call it a night. I'll make sure my water pan's full. The great thing about the Rec Tec, it stays on temperature right where you want it. I'm going to spritz the brisket. It's just really looking wonderful. When I wake up, I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to wrap it right away. Smoker tube, I refilled my smoker tube. So I got lots of wonderful hours of smoke coming. I'm still rolling along at 250 degrees. And that's how we're gonna go overnight. All right, so we took the brisket off. It's 8 o'clock, so it went shorter than what I was expecting. We cooked for about 14.5 hours, which is about an hour per pound. I wrapped it at about 10 hours in, so I got up in the middle of the night and wrapped it it was at 170, it was in the stall. And I just put some butter on top of it and wrapped it in paper, as you can see, and I just took it off. It got a little higher than what I wanted it to. It got to 206, so now I'm gonna let it rest. The bark came out beautiful, and now it's time to cut it. So we're going to see what we got. This is our piece, if you remember, that we cut to remember which way the grain went. Beautiful smoke ring. Look at that smoke ring. Pull test. Beautiful. stir. Cheers.
Cheers. That's delicious.
Yeah, that's good. Real good. The pepper comes through. You can see the deep smoke ring, and you can taste it too. So thanks for hanging out with me with the beef brisket cook. I hope maybe you learned something. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments field below. Any suggestions, leave them in the comments field below. The brisket turned out perfect. You have to have a reliable cooker. And that's why I purchased the Rec Tec, but the brisket was delicious. The rub, I heavily suggest keeping it simple. I don't recommend using the oils, the rubs, and the mustard to get your rub to stick. If you buy a good quality piece of meat, your rub is gonna stick. You just rinse it off. If you're concerned, that'll add a little moisture to it. Beyond that, you're just gonna block out the smoke from making a good smoke penetration, and you'll see a lot of times that the smoke ring is smaller. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, hit the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you next time.